was a busy week in Star Wars this week, bro. I saw something I was trying to do the numbers. Somebody was saying that it's because they dropped some comics too, right? But I don't know if that was in their count. But they were like, it was like 24 Star Wars related like media this month, like 24 different things. And I was trying to count it up. Like, we know, I think this is a 5-week month. So that's already 10. Like if you go, Mandalorian and Bad Batch, but maybe something else is dropping too. Like I don't know if they're doing the Visions because I know Celebration is coming up, right? So or maybe Celebration already happened. I thought they were just out in London, but like I just saw somebody said like a number like 24, 29, and I meant to check on that. Like is Visions coming out? Is a maybe like some kid like little cartoon type of thing. Or were they counting the comics that might have been dropping throughout the month as well, right? But it was a hot number. I guess I should go with the StarWars.net or something to see what they had about that. But just kind of I was watching somebody's reaction to they were like, we got this a busy month. It was like 24. And I was like, I don't know where that number come from, right? Like,
yeah. Just between a Bad Batch and Mandalorian season 3 coming up. Yes, that's busy
it would
week,
be at least 10,
month.
right?
Yeah.
If you get, I think we probably get 5.
How many more episodes of Bad Batch do we got?
We just got episode 11, and I think we got 16 altogether. So we at least got, is that 5 more, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16? We got 5 more episodes. So I would imagine, like, I think Bad Batch probably end, like, probably the first week of April, first or second week of April.
Yeah.
I think it's 16. I'm pretty sure it's 16. But, yeah, so to have all that. But I like, again, regardless, it's still a lot. But what ended up happening is that we got chapter 17 of Mandalorian on
shout out
Wednesday.
to Pedro Pascal, man.
He's killing it right now, boy. Ain't he? Because he just got
killing it, bro.
I saw some kind of, it was like a little clip. It was like if you, especially like in LA, if you driving past, like one billboard had Last of Us, the next billboard had Mandalorian, right?
Got the 2 hottest shows,
Yeah, so it was
say
like
what you want, but a lot of people watching The Last of Us.
A lot of people watching The Last of Us. I think they just said something out there. It's always weird because people put out stuff, and I don't know how everything is how true everything, because it's not willful metrics these people give up. I think people try to do they found a way to like analytics around measurements, but like HBO is probably just not easily giving up their numbers. I say all that to say because Netflix don't give up their numbers except when they tell you like we knocking it out.
It's the biggest year ever.
Yeah, they'll give you that, right? Shout out to Netflix. I kill them, but they do the damn thing. But
they consistent.
But Pedro and them Last of Us, they were saying something like they just, I think the last week or the week before passed, like had a higher thing than Game of Thrones type stuff and House of Dragon type stuff.
It's catching up, right?
Catching up.
It's just, and to think in terms of TV, it's a fairly new IP, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not like it was based off a game, but it's not like Game of Thrones had several seasons prior to the House of Dragon.
So, it just proves right there too, like it was like a proof. I mean, maybe it's only 101, but like Uncharted probably should have been a series.
Yeah,
like build that up, right? Nice little series.
And it might still be. They might just.
They already talking about Hogwarts.
Yeah,
talking about that's about to be. They talking about that's going to be already knowing like we about to do that. They already talking about that's HBO and it's HBO.
They made a few announcements. What was it? They want more Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, talking about they want to make a franchise like Star Wars.
It's like I don't know where they're gonna get the stories from, but I guess they're gonna have to dig into the somewhere into the lore. But they want Hogwarts Legacy to show. That game is killing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they're probably gonna do more Game of Thrones.
They gonna steal our idea, man. These people gonna steal our idea. We're gonna look up one day. We're gonna say early, but we ain't get the bread for it. Is that somebody gonna get it with all these things? Is that they gonna do? Let's say like Last of Us. I'm not saying they gonna do it, or Lord of the Rings that you were talking about. That they do these things and then like it lead up into a movie. Like you have a big event that happened at the end. That's the movie. So we want to do that, but we done built a whole community. It ain't just a cinematic universe from a movie standpoint that we done built it. It lead into the movie. and lead.
You know who did that? You know who was ahead of their time, and it bombed at the time, but they was kind of ahead of their time. Was the X-Files did that back in the day?
Yeah, they did.
Remember the X-Files movie?
Mm-hmm.
The show led up to that movie. And it was like all the questions and everything was answered in the movie.
Wasn't like maybe the mistake they made that the movie was like the movie was like at like a while after the show. I can't remember, but I remember they did that. But I don't remember if it like the season ended and then the movie came. Like it might have been like it did like 2 years later, something like that. The movie came like it might not have had as momentum that it would have had, or maybe it was just early. A lot of stuff was early. Top Gun Maverick dropped 10 years ago, and they don't do what it just did. It was, you know, and I'm like, why they pull out the movie? They bring it out now when it's too Billy, you know, like some things might have been just early with them doing that, right? Because they did that shit. They might mess around and make an X-Files movie now and it'll do better than whatever those movies did. They did it now, right? Like we just because of the IP. I'm like, oh, okay, people go see it. But yeah, I think somebody gonna steal what we keep saying. When you see some of these things, like, you know what? I know we want to make a movie, but let's flush this stuff out and then lead into that. We don't put that all out together, then we lead into that. Right. I can see that. I mean, you know, we see it with these connected things, and we about to talk about the Mandalorian, but we talk about Marvel, we talk about DC, we talk about these different things. Like, if you're gonna have these different characters, TV show them, lead into whatever major movie you got. And I can see that being something that people start looking at that they might do. Like again, Last of Us. We do it, came off game, got TV show. Why not make a movie? Especially like the season kind of finale, kind of like the big, you know, like, okay, this is where we tie all this stuff together. You know everything, you follow along, you invested. We're gonna give you a major release.
Especially with that format of like looking for artifacts and you know, going to different locations around the world, that would fit better in a television show. You know, and you can even have the overarching story or whatever.
Especially with the games, because you always in anything, especially because you always kind of take like liberties, right? And you get that, like you go to the movie and you be like, well, that's not how that character was in the game. That's not how so like if they do things like that, you done already got that within the TV show. Right, within the TV show, you like beyond them trying to get to the movie, just in the TV, like a they changed kind of how Drake was, right? In Uncharted, right? We used Mark was not Drew, was Mark Wahlberg Drake?
No, it was Tom Holland was Drake. Mark Wahlberg was Sully.
Was Sully. Like you kind of did a different thing with him, right? Him being Sully. And it's like
he wasn't Sully, man.
Yeah,
they didn't have him really smoking cigars. He didn't have a mustache. Shit was wild, man.
Yeah, so it's like a TV show. If you're gonna establish it, this is the kind of one how you gonna be. Maybe a TV show might have been better. They get kind of more comfortable with that, right? Yeah. We might have been salty at the premiere, episode 2. But if you got a good story by the time we get to episode 8 or 10, the season finale, probably not even thinking about the fact that this dude not smoking a cigar without a mustache. Don't have his demeanor. He don't have that, because you know when you smoke a cigar, you got a different kind of demeanor. Yeah, you don't got the Marky Mark demeanor. You know how you talk. What do you want to say? You know how you get to talking, you get all like like that.
Yeah, you got that Boston accent. Yeah. What are you gonna do? You gonna go to the bar? You
get into that rant, and it's like I done got used to that about time and now I'm just invested in. So you know I can see that. That's cool, but bringing it back to the reason why we start talking, we want to talk about this episode, this season premiere of episode 3, which is they call it chapter 13, but if you know, it's really like chapter 19, right? It's really chapter 19.
Chapter 19. Hold on, wait a minute. So was the last episode of season 2 chapter 12?
Chapter 16.
Ooh.
It's really chapter 19.
Because we got 2 episodes that.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. They need to just, I know they do it with this stuff that they put Star Wars in the front. It's really just Star Wars, and then we on some episode of Star Wars, right? Like they had some Boba Fett things, and it was like Boba Fett, and he had 7 episodes, chapter 1 through 7, but really like two of the chapters didn't involve him at all, right? So it was like it was a Star Wars show, that maybe centralized on Boba for a minute. It's like kind of like make sure like Star Wars is in the damn banner. Like this is really a Star Wars story. You just got a couple of people that we gonna focus on this particular one. I say all that to say, probably should have been called episode 19. I think the legit thing could have been like episode 19.
Good point.
The Apostate. But
Apostate.
We didn't talk about this, and I felt like you got a take. So let's just get into it. Like, what was your coming in? If you want to start off like particular parts of the show that, like, okay, meaning like, hey, so what do you think about the beginning, or just want to give you your overall? What was your overall thing about the episode?
I was a little underwhelmed, man, to be honest with you.
Okay.
The way it starts off, they you get a lot of Mandalorians right away.
Yeah.
But it's something about the kids. Did the kids' accent throw you off, man? He kind of was like, I promise to be, it's like, because
about it.
What was that?
I thought it was a throwback. I thought it was a flashback.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out.
That's what
I was like, is this Din Djarin? And I'm like,
yeah.
Is this Din Djarin when he was a kid getting his helmet? And nah, this is happening now, man. And it sort of threw me off, man. I was that part kind of took me out. His accent is like, what part of the galaxy is this kid from, man? Like, it's I swear to never take my helmet off. And it's like,
that's an interesting question, though, to be quite honest. What part of the galaxy was that little boy from? Where y'all find this new boy? What y'all find this new
family,
kid,
but they all got different accents. You know what I mean? The armor.
They just randomly found a new kid. Like we have.
He's a foundling. He's getting this. For some reason, they standing in the water, and it's like you're not on Mandalore, so you're not bathing in the waters of Mandalore. So why are you in the water? Did nobody know that it was a snapping turtle that was gonna pop out of the water? And,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And they all like, they start going ham on the turtle alligator creature, and they like, and shooting it, and it was kind of like, and it's kind of predictable at that point. Like, okay, all right, I know Din Djarin's about to come in here and bail y'all out, but yeah, I don't know, man. I was kind of underwhelmed, man. I wasn't like, I didn't have the same feeling, and this is now looking back. This is what sort of takes away from this season is the feeling that I was expecting here, or that anybody or a fan would be expecting here, is the feeling that I got when I saw him in the Book of Boba Fett, where it was like, oh man, where he can that introduction. That's the introduction we needed for his third season. We didn't get that here.
That on Wednesday.
We didn't get that here. We didn't get him walking in and you just like, man, here he is. He in his element. He in his full splendor. You know what I mean? We got
all my splendor.
In all his splendor. You know what I mean? We got this sort of like goofy
chain and all my splendor.
Yeah. We got this this sort of baptism, in the water, and then like kind of like this, I don't know, this monster coming out. And it's kind of like, I don't know, that part was kind of predictable. It was like, all right, here comes Din Djarin, and then here he comes. He saves him. He don't get no thank you.
No, none of that.
She just
they devout, bruh.
Bro, she took your helmet off. He like, yeah, I know. I listen, I just saved your. Yeah, I know, but you took your helmet off. So,
she was he devout in that one.
Yeah, they devout.
I ain't know any better. She'd have been like, if I didn't know who the actress was, I'm like, that's like an OG black grandma right there, like a southern one, like.
Yeah,
like let me
child, listen.
Yeah, like
you ain't gonna be coming in this house.
If I'm mad, I'm mad. If I've got a problem with you, no matter what you do, you can buy me a whole house of groceries.
She didn't even want to look at him. He was minding her back for most of that first scene. She had her back turned like. You ain't no Mandalorian. Yeah. So but my initial thoughts, man, I was kind of underwhelmed, man. To be honest with you, man, I just felt like I didn't get that same feeling, man, that I got in the Book of Boba Fett, episode 5 and 6, where I see Mando pop up, you like, damn, man, look at him. You know what I mean? And then you see Grogu, man, and it's like, Grogu come out, man, and it's still Goo Goo Gaga, and it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And come on, the novelty's wearing off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm getting at, man. I think the novelty's wearing off a little bit. I just didn't have that. I didn't have that feeling, man, where I didn't have that wow factor like I did with the first 2 seasons. It just wasn't. I just didn't get the wow factor seeing Din Djarin and Grogu show up, man. And again, I think that's where 5 and 6 being in Book of Boba Fett took away from season 3. We just don't have that same introduction. We already saw them, and they played a big part in the Book of Boba Fett. So it's like, so that's how I walked away from it, man. Or that's how I felt, man. I looked at it and I'm like, you gotta. I'm starting to get this feeling, and again, you might go a totally different direction, man. But I'm just telling you how I feel. I'm getting this feeling, bro, where it's like first 2 seasons, y'all, it was like keys dangling in front of a baby. Keys, and they playing with the keys. Goo Goo Gaga, you know what I mean? But it's like, and a lot of fan service was given, and I appreciate that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it. I'm not throwing that out there like I'm taking that for granted. I'm not. I like that. You know what I mean? I like that they know what fans want, and they care about what fans want, and they try to stay true to that. But the novelty here, man, I feel like season 3, you can't dangle the keys in front of me no more, man. You got to give me something. You know what I mean? You got to give me something, man. And I'm seeing Grogu spin around in the chair, Goo Goo Gaga. That's not. He's not Baby Yoda no more, man. That's Grogu, man. Grogu's a former Jedi or a youngling, Padawan. But he also 50 years old, man. It's like, hey, bro, you need to start talking, man. You know what I mean? There's rumors going around saying you was with Luke for 2 years. Hey, man, I need some words, man. Hey, Yoda talk. Yoda used to talk. I need for Grogu to start speaking, man. Speak on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he had words.
Tell me how you feel. You know what I mean? Tell me something, man.
Yeah.
So, I was underwhelmed, man. I couldn't help it, bro. I was like, just kind of just sitting there.
Yeah.
We'll get in, and like I said, we're gonna get into the recap of the episode, but it's like, we see it, like, you got to start. Like, I'm hoping that we can kind of get past these traditions a little bit. The idea of, oh, you took your helmet off, you're not a Mandalorian, which is kind of like, okay. And then, but even on the other side with Bo-Katan, well, I don't have I don't have the Darksaber anymore, so I can't. The people left, and it's like,
yeah, which one is it?
Yeah, it's like you lead
one is the thing
yeah. She's just sitting there. She just like got her leg all up on the, and she just like, he come in there like, hey, how you doing? She like, all the people are gone, and it's like, where'd they go? I didn't have a, you know what I mean? It's kind of like this kind of passive aggressive, like, well, I didn't have a Darksaber, so they left.
Yeah.
Maybe you should lead them. It was kind of passive aggressive for her. You know what I mean?
It was definitely
it kind of made her. It wasn't a good. It wasn't a good reintroduction for her character. I feel like it wasn't a good way to catch up with her character. And I know I'm going negative on here, but the good things I would say that I came away with. Hey, man,
before you go with your good things, I just want to say I appreciate this because this is the first time we disagree.
Oh yeah, we need this. No, we need. And I know we would. I know we would. That's why I was like, I got to bring it on this one because we're gonna disagree on this one. Yeah, we need to do this, man. Because I was like, man, nah, I'm underwhelmed, bro. And I watched it again, and I'm like, maybe I missed something. Because I'm like, let me give it another shot. Maybe I missed something. So I ran it back, and I'm like, It might have been worse this time than the first time. So I did go. I went in on it. I know I went negative on it, but I'm gonna say one thing, man. I can
go ahead. My bad. My bad.
No, I'm just saying real quick. One thing is Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, man, they know how to make a standalone episode, bro. Every episode they make of The Mandalorian can stand like you could just watch it beginning, middle, and end. It's never a feeling where I'm like, well, damn, that was kind of a filler. That's incomplete. Like every episode is a standalone episode. Beginning, middle, and end. No matter how simple it is, no matter how little they give you, it's a beginning, middle, and end of that episode. He does something in that episode, beginning, middle, and end. So for them to retain that, I appreciate it. I'm like, damn, that's really good, man. Like, that's hard to do. You know what I mean? Like for them to be able to continue to just make these standalone episodes, man. These are all like going back even to season 1. Every episode, you feel like if I took somebody in and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna show you the Mandalorian," and for some reason I just show them a random episode. I feel like even if they might not understand everything that's going on, they at least can enjoy that episode. Like, wow,
it's almost like every episode it could be an entry point. Once you if you understand the fact that what is Grogu, what they're doing, every episode could be an entry point.
You're gonna understand that. Hey, man, this guy's kind of like a cowboy. You know what I mean? He's a former bounty hunter. He's somebody not to be trifled with, right? He good with a blaster. He got a youngin with him that got like powers. He got a lot of respect. This is a dangerous guy, but he also got a good heart. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of like it's pretty easy to gather exactly what Din Djarin is about from any episode. And I think that's cool, man. That's not easy to do. You know what I mean? Especially in live action. You know what I mean? I think it's a little bit easier to do. Like, but even when you compare The Mandalorian to Dave Filoni's animated shows, they're not this consistent, right? There's a lot of filler in the Clone Wars. There's a lot of filler in the Bad Batch. There's been a lot of filler in Rebels. You know what I mean? Like over the years, all those shows, and granted, those shows obviously got more episodes and they got
and then like some of the target audience, right? Like we watch Clone Wars, like you watch. I religiously watch Rebels.
Right.
But it's literally like watch 7. Right? It's like a little kid rating. Yeah. Right. So it's gonna have a lot of those episodes where it's really just about a nice Yondu. It's really about the end result of trying to find who Fulcrum is or something. It's just they just going to pick up something, and that's what it was. And it had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, and and he run into the pirates, man, and it's kind of like you know what I mean? He kind of it's very predictable, man. It was kind of like paint by the numbers, man. Like I was kind of like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh well, you know what I mean? Like, bro, you gotta listen. We know it's like when we think about the shows that inspired Star Wars. Like Flash Gordon, for example, serials. We think about the Lone Rangers, the Flash Gordons of the world. We know that that's the framework is there. That they inspired the framework of shows like the show like The Mandalorian, right? We know that okay, this guy is bounty hunter who has the kid now, and so it's like when he runs into the pirates, you're like, okay, what does he do different that he hasn't done in the first 2 seasons? It's the same thing. It's just okay. Well, he's going to help him with the pirates. Oh, okay. So he let the pirates go. okay, they're gonna come back and get revenge.
They're
Same thing with the calamari, with the Mon Calamari. When they try to kidnap the kid, what did they do? They came back later and tried to get revenge. Just like it becomes
predictable. Wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, it becomes like the wash, rinse, repeat, and you kind of like, man, y'all got. I get it, man. Like, well, I kind of expected a little, and I didn't want it to be over stylized and this big opening fight scene where he's like fighting with Mandalorians and he jumping off a building with Grogu and he on the jetpack and it's an explosion in the back. Like, no, I didn't want that. I didn't want him to be too over stylized. But I want to start. We got to start going in like another direction. You got to show me some growth here because I'm feeling like we just sort of picking off where we left off, but it's, you run into some pirates. The pirate villain looked kind of goofy. He looked like Compost Man. You know what I mean? He got like garbage on his face. You know what I mean? It was kind of wild, bro. I was just kind of like, all right, but
yeah.
A show cannot exist, and we'll get into this take. We'll get into this what I'm about to say here a little bit later after you get your reaction off. But a show cannot exist on fan service alone.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
It's always been my fear for the Mandalorian is that I love the fan service.
Yes,
but you need a little bit more. You need to, and again. Compared to the first two seasons, and this is my last point before I let you go. So, first season, he's a bounty hunter. He's all about his bounties. He's dedicated to his work. He's very good at it. All he wants to do is work. He gets a bounty. It changes. Things change right there in that first episode. Versus the first episode of season 2, where it's like we clearly see the growth. We see that he's no longer a bounty hunter. Now he has a new mission. Season 3, it just didn't. I don't know. It don't come across as like I don't see the same growth. I don't see like a new guy. Like he's like, all right, I gotta bathe in the waters of Mandalorian. It's like. But Grogu's still a baby. Goo Gaga, no words. I don't know, man. I gotta see. Like, I want to see growth in these characters, man. I don't want to. You're not just. I don't just want you to show me things that you think I like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't just show me things you think I like. I get it. Like, people love Baby Yoda. People love Grogu. I like Grogu a lot. I like Din Djarin. But hey man, where's this going? You know what I mean? Where is this going? How has he changed? Is there a struggle? Does Grogu ever like yearn for the Force and Luke? Did he regret his decision? Does he ever just look at Mando and be like, and Mando be like, you want to go back? And like,
yeah,
tell me something. You know what I mean? Show me something. So that was my thoughts, man. I was underwhelmed.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And the thing about, like you say, with fan service, right? It just has to support the story because they walked the line, right? Because it could have went sideways at any time, right? Between season 2 and season 2.5, right? Where it's like gave us a lot of stuff, but like it always felt like everything that happened supported the story. It was part of, so like we got it, and it definitely was fan service, but it was part of the story that we're telling. We knew the story, right? Knew where it was going. I will say, like, and I'll start off with one thing. Was one thing that I didn't like, and I don't like. I don't like them. I don't like the IG-11 thing. I don't like the AJ. So no matter what happens with the season, that's gonna be one like y'all overthought that one. Don't do that. Let IG. Pay homage to the statue. Don't do that. Even if we saw the previews, he gonna end up with R5, right? He gonna get the bad motivator. Like that's what he ended up with when he goes see Pelly. So We already know that the IG-11 thing can work unless IG-11 become the Marshall or something like that.
I think IG-11 is gonna be
work.
I think IG-11 is gonna be the Marshall. That's what I'm saying.
But it's like
very predictable.
Like, let that one chill. Don't let the IG-11. He served his purpose in season 1. Could add a statue. Get that. But when I was first watching, and I felt like the whole I thought we were gonna we're gonna have the same conversation. Like, I'm like, we gonna have the same conversation. But as I was going through it, because at first I thought the beginning thing was just a flashback. I thought it was a flashback, which probably would have been like, okay, we kind of setting up this Mandalorian kind of conflict kind of deal, where we seeing kind of where he first became. He's probably gonna have a reflective moment. Like, that's what happened. And look where I'm at now. I'm an apostate. But he shows back up, takes care of the situation. And kind of when I first was watching, so I watched it again. When I first watched, I was like, well, they just repeating the same thing they already said in the Boba Fett show. You are no longer a Mandalorian. Well, it just took me a little minute to really kind of watch it. Like, she was really just kind of like, hey, we already went through this, dog. You're not a Mandalorian. Get out of here. We already talked about this. Stop asking me the same question. Like you say, part my back. But just in going through it, and just like, I don't know, maybe I'm in the stuff, but I had such a great time, right? And once I kind of like stepped back, the only thing IG-11 threw me off, but Krieg, what was the name? What's my guy? Carl Weathers' character.
Moff Krieger, or what is it? Carve. What is it? Not Moff Krieger. Just Krieger. Yeah,
Krieger.
Yeah.
Like,
Carve
seeing him, and it was like I felt like and it made me think about the question that we had off the trailer, which we don't know. Like, is this gonna be like everybody gave Mando missions before, right? But like, is this Mando getting his own missions? It don't really seem like he really still got a mission. It's like the same mission he had from the Boba Fett episode, right? I need to go bathe in the waters of Mandalore, right? That's what I need to go do. So yeah, he gonna get the droid, but that don't really feel like a mission. We get a droid part, that's gonna fail. But like, so it made me think about the question we had, and it feels like now, like, wow, we was kind of really good question good topic that we had was like, was this season gonna be a mission? Who would be giving Mando missions? Because he was going to find out how to help Grogu before. First was bounty hunting. Bounty hunting created the missions. Yeah. Second season, I need to get Grogu to his con. He needed to get different people that, and then missions will come along as we went to that. But seeing, and then it was like, this episode probably was really like a reestablishing. Okay, you might not have seen Boba. You might have seen Boba. But we're gonna let you know that the ship is fast. We're gonna let you know that he got beef.
I love the ship.
We're gonna let you know he got beef with what's the name? With the and it looked like the damn the watch that his covert crew, they done recruited up, because it was just her and Paz Vizsla before. They had a whole situation.
Yeah, I know they lost a lot back in Navarro when they got when that little bunker the covert got raided. But man, they done replenished them numbers, or maybe that's all they got though. Maybe that's the entire clan when what's left. Yeah. But go ahead.
Seeing then it was like, for me, seeing the Purgil when they went through the hyperspace, and then seeing the Purgil, the space whales, it was like, so then I'm like warming up, because at first I was like, oh, okay, man. Yeah, they just had that conversation. We start seeing a Purgil, I perk up. Can't even lie. Like you say, fan service, all that. Now, mind you, my mind is going, I went two ways. I was like, just seeing that was a dope nod for me for watching Rebels. That was a dope nod, because that happened. Never seen it in Rebels, never seen anything else. And it's like the second part, like, this about to happen, like, because we know that's Thrawn and Ezra. We know that's
bro.
Thrawn and Ezra.
That's it, man.
So seeing that perks me up. So like, that might have been the switch for me that put me in a space where like, okay, cool. We in this where we about to. I'm good, right? I'm good. I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm just going to have a little fun with it. And then once we get the Navarro, just seeing what I felt like what they were setting up, and it kind of like, and maybe again, watch, rinse, repeat. It could be just exactly that. We gonna come back, and he gonna come back to Navarro, and it's gonna be overran by them pirates, right? Like that old ship in the swamp thing gonna be back, and because he said I need a marshal, I need this, and then we gonna come back, and then they gonna have to. And that's what I think we saw in the trailers, a lot of Mandalorians showing up ready to fight. Like they coming back to help Navarro because they're independent, right? They're not part of the New Republic, they're not part of
they don't get
anything else. They just want to, they about to get got, right? By that whole pirate clan. But just seeing like you said, then going through space, and then even then showing up in at the end. When that thing was finished, I was like, yo, I had a good time. I don't even know how to like provide extra context to it. It was just like short, a little short for my liking. When it first came on, I was like, oh yeah. I was gonna hit you like, man. I had the same word. I'm underwhelmed. I'm underwhelmed. I think the Purgill perked me up. Then I was in a different space. I was in a different space when I watched the rest of it. Because if I maybe don't see the Purgill, and we might be having and I'm dead serious. We might be having a mirrored conversation. Because my first thought was, well, they already had this conversation. And I might have been saying the same thing about kind of like Bo, even though it was a different kind of version. Like they kind of already had that conversation. She don't got the Darksaber, right?
And that's what I mean. Like we took
she
away
that depth. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, real not to cut you off, but that's what I mean. 5 and 6, that's what we sacrificed by. Hey, we love those episodes. But imagine those 2 episodes starting off this season. Imagine that hearing that conversation for the first time that he was gonna have to bathe in the waters of Mandalore. Because we just we knew that already because of those 2 episodes, and then we get that here, like, and it's like it doesn't have the same, it don't hit the same. It's like, oh, okay, I mean, yeah, we knew that, you know. But had we got it like we did in 5 and 6, a Book of Boba Fett, it was like,
yeah.
Well, yeah, but not good.
Even the speech that the armorer gave before she knew he took his helmet off, when she gave him the speech about Bo-Katan. She was gifted the saber. For us who watch Rebels, we know that Sabine gave her the saber. So she didn't win it, and that's the weird thing about Bo-Katan is like that means something, but the helmet thing don't. Like y'all hold on to these different, these 2 different lores, but at the end of the day, like that lore meant something to her, and then she was cursed, and then she was the one with the saber when the purge happened, right? Everything bad happened when she was in the leader of Mandalore. So for her to like, we get to the end and it was like, we already knew that story. So I would have felt a certain way, but I'm just going to be honest, man, it was the Purgill that made me like in a space to be like, okay, cool. Let me take this in what's happening. And then I had to get to the end. And then I could be totally wrong. Supposedly the second episode is incredible, right?
I got to hear your theory on the Purgills, but go ahead. I got to get your theories. I got to get man, I saw that. Yeah, that part did like again though. It was like this better mean something, bro. Y'all better not just be showing me that shit, man. But go ahead, man. My bad. But go ahead.
No. No, I'm just saying, like, it was more of a. So me saying, like, I'm gonna say this. I was trying to compare it to another episode when I first was watching it. I had a really good time, but I won't front and be like it's one of the strong. It was like it's an episode that I liked, but it's not one of the stronger Mandalorian episodes, and it's not a season premiere strong like last one we got. I mean, again, it's hard to compare last season because last season did so much in terms of fan service, but we got damn Cobb Vanth and Boba Fett armor, and then we got Boba Fett and we got a crate dragon in a season premiere, right? That's tough. And in the first season premiere, he just sliced the bowl in half. We get IG-11, and we get that incredible fight scene, and we get Baby Yoda.
Bro, that's what I mean. You had a crate dragon.
This one would have been that one.
Now I got the snapping turtle, and it's like,
yeah, he's not a crate dragon. And then like the season premiere, if they kind of made it episode 5, where Mando show up at the butcher shop, and then he get the M1 Starfighter.
Oh, man.
Right.
Where you fight the bulldog face dudes. Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't even look like me. He said, I could bring you in warm, I could bring you in cold. So it's like
that don't look like me. Yeah.
Yeah, don't even look like me. Looks like you're surrounded, like I was a nice boys was from Philly, man. So it was like there was some Philly dogs over there.
He said, like, get out of here. Hey, bull, get out of here. Come on, man.
Come on, Ock.
Come on. About to carry it, bro.
Come on, Ock, man. Get out of here, man. But so I was like, I look back to the episode. I was trying to compare it to one like it was probably one of the weaker Mandalorian episodes would have been. I'm going back to actually the one that they brought in, because it's really not, but like the one where they brought in Kara the first time she showed up, because that almost felt like a filler till they paid it off at the end. They paid it off. It paid off in the season finale, last 2 episodes of season 1. The first one where the AT-ATs was taking over the town, and Mando should have clapped the one little villagers that liked him, and Grogu was in the village, and when they first met Cara Dune, right?
Yeah, he never did go back to Gara either.
He ain't never go get those guts.
He
should have got those. He should go now, but
he need to get that done while he got the helmet off. Like I'm I can take it off because I'm not a man. Hey, I ain't bathed in the waters yet. He need to have some time with the helmet off, right? Like
he need to go do all the things he couldn't do. Let me go get my bucket list together before I go get in this water.
Before I go bathe in the waters again. Pause. Let me go ahead and do some laps. You know what I mean? Go on a little run here before I got to get back in these waters.
I got the saber. I got a little kid. I could really do anything right now.
Anything I want. Yeah. I
can do anything. You see the whip. I'm doing well right now, right? My credit game is, Mando probably got some credits, boy, like stash. Like he doing all right. Mando all right.
Because he did that Boba job on the strength, but hey, credit game looking crazy right now, bro. He ain't really
he did that on the strength. So his credits. His credits is all right. His credits is all right.
In a good place.
I agree with you. I definitely when I was excited. I had a great time. I will not sit here and tell you be like, and I don't think I'm gonna try not to do that. He had such a bad experience with Obi, and then even some of the stuff with Boba. I don't want to do for myself. Like, well, I'm like, for myself, I don't want to do this episode trash versus that episode. I want to see where the story go, because we may revisit this in a couple episodes, man, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's some bullshit, right? Because if it's not, or we might come back and be like, okay, so I'm not gonna do that yet, because Obi-Wan was just like that. Obi-Wan hurt my feelings, and I say it every time we talk about Star Wars. It hurt my feelings. I don't want to go through that.
But I knew, but we talked about this. I knew Obi-Wan was gonna be a disaster from day one.
I knew that though.
I knew it hurt me still though. It did hurt.
It did hurt
because I'm like,
you called it.
I'm like, man, y'all bring it back. Ewan, man. You know what I mean? McGregor, you. But I was like, I knew they're not gonna get it right, But
you called it though. But you was early, like, man, I got a feeling this one. They ain't gonna. I can see the writing on the wall. You was early with that one. I was like, man, they got my God, but you was early. But with this one, man, I won't say that. I won't sit here and be like it was one of the stronger Mandalorian episodes, right? I'm not going to even try to sell that. But I will say that when it was done, I was like, oh, okay, I'm ready for the season. Now that we talking, if we had this conversation, we was like, shit, man, they got to come harder than episode 5, chapter 5 or 6 of Boba. Then I might like, yeah, this one don't. But it was just like a getting connect. Okay, cool. First time I watched the Swamp Guy, I was like, this is some bullshit. Second time I watched the Swamp Guy, because I watched it again probably about 8 o'clock over here. And I was like, yeah, okay, this confirms how I really feel. I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, man. No, I definitely see everything you're saying. I see everything you're saying, but it just, like I said, once seeing the Pergils, man, it was just like I was ready for whatever the ride was going to. I just did. I almost got taken off the rails again with the IG-11. It was like, don't do that. Don't do that, man.
He did like a Terminator thing too, man, where he ain't got no legs and he on the.
You knew it was coming with that one. It was like, you knew it was coming for that one. Like, and then they haven't even had Mando telling some bum ass joke. That's usually your head. That was like, yo, it could go bad. It could go bad, right?
Hey man, don't bring back Taiki Waititi, man. Don't do it, bro. You don't need no more IG-11, man. Hey, that was a good way for him to go out.
That was probably gonna be the Marshal, way for him to go out.
It's cool, man. It's cool.
Yeah, but I don't want IG without I have spoken. Quill. Yeah, I don't want that IG without Quill. And he said that, man. You don't got Quill's hands. That's why Grogu got the floating device. Quill's hands did that.
Bro, how they got so many parts of IG? How they got all IG parts, bro? He exploded, man.
Yeah. They did have his whole upper torso, right?
Bro, he exploded. He took out several stormtroopers in the process. It's like, how do they got so many?
He got to be shrapnel parts in some other stormtrooper box.
Yeah, they must have really found all them pieces. But I mean, I guess that would make sense in this universe. You could believe that they would be able to do that. I mean,
Karga was looking at him like, for real, man. For real, man. Oh, I got a feeling he gonna get off this season, man. Like off.
Oh, Karga.
Yeah, man. I like his character too.
I like his character, man. I no complaints about Karga. I like this exchange with the pirates, man. I did like that.
So, but yeah, that's just my feeling, man. Like I came out feeling excited. It was Mando. I might not. We can revisit next week after the episode 2, and I'll be like, okay, man, I'm on your side, or I'm gonna be on another cloud now. Like, nah, because what they
I might be on your side though. I might be like
what they did was with this second. You know, they showed the premiere. They did for people who was in LA and went to that premiere. They showed the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, and I did see that the second episode is like, you know, the reviews are up.
Yeah,
you know, I don't think they got spoilers in them, but yeah, the reviews are kind of popping up. So people saying that.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay away from. Like I said, we always talk about that. How much but like, we got, you know, it is what it is. But like, I want you to tell me the story. Like, I don't mind getting spoiled some things, but don't tell me the story. Like, it's always the thing about Mando, right? Like, they've done well. So you hope. We'll see. But I think you said you wanted to talk about the Pergil.
Exactly. This is
that lit me. You know me. That lit me.
No, I knew it would, and that's why when I saw it, and like I said, regardless of me being underwhelmed by this episode, that part, and I seen it on the second on the rewatch, I was like, man, bro, that's it. He's alive. I was like, Ezra's alive, right? And that was the twinkling. That was the last bit that like kept me like, okay, all right, just stay focused. Now, granted, I preserved my reaction for this first episode as like I'm underwhelmed, and I'm sticking with that. But going long term and looking long term for the whole season, for them to show Pergils, bro, is like, hey, bro, Ezra and Thrawn are alive, and only. Like Grogu can see that, man. He noticed them Pergils, bro.
You think he foresaw that? Like sync that with the Force? Like, you think if a Den was awoke,
I don't think Den would have seen
side? Because I was wondering that.
Yeah, I don't think Den would have noticed, bro. And Pergils is in hyperspace, bro. I don't think you could just see shit in hyperspace, and I don't think it's ever been no reports of like travelers seeing Pergil. Like I don't think that was a part of the lore, right? Like, I don't think that was even a part of Rebels, right? That was like
I think what's her name? It had brought that up that she didn't like them because so many people, they lost so many people in the lane because they would just crash through.
That's true.
But they would cut through I don't think they could see them because they would have been able to like some way avoid them. They just would crash through the lanes, but they were so much, and pause on this, but they were so much bigger in scale than they were even in the animated version, right? I don't even know how you could really quantify that animated version the way they were in hyperspace like that. Them things was ginormous, B. Like they were so
that
there's no way. Like, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, bro. I was most interested in that, bro, because that's like, damn, bro. That's just like another like. It sort of gave you a glimpse into like, man, maybe like that Ezra show, bro, might be on some totally different. We might really be looking, you know what I mean? Like this Mando show is more about like he's going into Navarro, he going to Tatooine, he going to like these little backwater planets. A lot of it is like he dealing with other humans and humanoids, and bro, that Ezra show might be like on some more of a fantasy element to it, where they like a bigger. You get what I'm saying? Like
a whole nother portion of like it, because like you say, they went to just say in the cartoon, they went to a world between worlds.
Yeah.
Right. And supposedly like Thrawn has went on some other kind of portion of maybe time and space, or maybe just another portion of the universe, uncharted. At the end of the day, the scale of it, because they were really dealing with space whales who could travel in hyperspace, right? Like they could really travel, and literally what everybody studied to be able to understand that they could use those type of fuel to get in hyperspace, those whales. But I made me think like in the season finale of Rebels, series finale, those things wrapped up Thrawn. Like those big boys couldn't have wrapped up Thrawn because they would have smushed him, right? Like they had some smaller Pergil wrapping up, like what the Bendu told him, like I see your ending. You're gonna be wrapped up in a bunch of arms or whatever. Like those things grabbed Thrawn. Those big boys couldn't have grabbed Thrawn because they had to choke the life out of him.
Oh, they would have ate.
No matter if he was with the Force.
Nah,
it was some big boys, man. But it just made me go like, wow, it was dope to see. But like, it was a part of me where and maybe that kept my energy going. Like, hey man, are we like? I know we getting Sabine, but it's like hell, we might even get to the point where we get to the Saber, like she be the one that transfer that knowledge to him because that she got it right. That might be a thing. And so hopefully they do that well if they do that right, because it can go wrong. But when you get to the part like that's one fear I do have about this season. Is that stuff right? Pergy, but like, is this the setup for? Is this a setup show for more setup for like what's gonna come as opposed to like this Mandalorian shit we need to deal with, right? Do it like get that set up.
Yeah.
Or like we're gonna spend a lot of time with Thrawn, or we're gonna spend a lot of time with Ezra, we're gonna spend a lot of time with Sabine, or just or is it hanging over us because just like Boba Fett was, the Mando situation took over Boba Fett, and could that happen with this show? That's a fear. That is a fear because like it's cool to see the Pergil and it's great. But
how much of the show is going to be setting up Ezra's show and Ahsoka's show and all these other shows? Because remember, season 2 did set up Book of Boba Fett. The first episode, we see Boba pop up. He's looking for his armor. We see him, the little post-credit scene, basically. He pops up. What do we get here? We see Pergil. We see, a cameo, not a cameo, but like we see Pergil. And it's like
we see Pergil. That's a big deal. So it's like, hopefully they do it like Boba Fett, where we don't see some shit again until like episode whatever the 7th episode when Boba Fett showed back up. Because if it's like 3, 4, 5, like a lot of that, because they're gonna have to bring it so good. So you can get to the part where that happened, and I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna be like, hell yeah, but it's gonna be like, so what was the Mandalorian shit about? Like what the and then you made me think about something earlier when you said it was like the consistency of what they've always had, and like from the characters, the consistency they had with Mandalorian, and like some of the other things didn't have that. And I was thinking like, the only thing that was like consistent in like, let's say Clone Wars, from a character standpoint, like Anakin was like consistent, right? He was like, Dan there could have had his own show, even though like you see the memes, the whole saga was about you. But like Clone Wars, like Anakin was like this the entire time, or like he was dope the entire time in the Clone Wars.
Great.
He was dope the entire time. To me anyway. He was dope the entire time, where some other people was like, well, I like you in this. I liked the Ahsoka later, but I didn't like Snips in the beginning. He talked about how sassy Obi-Wan was, right? Different character show where it was like, and then you had the filler parts of it, but like if Anakin was in it, he was dope the entire time of the Clone Wars. But yeah, that'd be my one fear about what this season could potentially be, because there's just in that little 30-minute episode, there's an awful lot that, like, a lot of moving different parts, right? Like we got armor, we got this, and then we still got to see. And I totally agree with. I don't disagree with anything you said. I just think we had two different experiences with the show, right? But I agree with everything you said. And there's that opportunity with Grogu. We like one episode away where it's like, okay, well, now he's just this, right? Because he has to have a purpose too. And he had it, and we took that away from him.
Yep.
Right. So it can't be just about, if we just do a whole thing where the whole season is just him training, if he training Grogu to be a Jedi, be a Mandalorian, then we just gonna get a lot of him waving at people, hugging Babu Frick, even though I don't think that was Babu Frick. But like, that kind of stuff, right? We get a lot of those different kind of scenes, him sitting in the chair, which I can take that episode 30 minutes, get in and get out. If it's so, hopefully, like those things that he going to, but even him using the Force to save himself won't be enough. Like, what is Grogu's purpose? We took that away from him from even if we brought him back later, like we had, let's say they did the season premiere was Boba Fett episode 5, right? Season premiere was that. That would have been what we would have saw Wednesday. Then Thursday we would have saw the Luke episode. We'd be going fucking nuts right now. And then we could have saw this episode 3, and then have him Google Gaga the rest of the season. And then do something to save everybody, probably in episode, 7th episode, 8th episode, about a Force. Get a Force, you get a call back to Order 66. But we'd be going crazy right now if we just fucking had that episode. But we're gonna have to, he gonna have to have a purpose. I totally agree, because like that's gonna get you run the risk now of just being like, now we just, that's an easy thing to say. We just trying to sell some toys, and we know a bunch of casual fans that like Grogu, so we gonna give them that. But all that stuff don't fit into the Mandalorian's always had a great story. It's always had a great story, even if Grogu was doing the same shit, right? But one thing we knew is that we were trying to save him, and that's when we were trying to get him to his people. What is it now? What is it now?
What's his purpose?
And they didn't establish that. That wasn't I don't come out of, honestly, I don't come out of that episode thinking like, well, I know he needed to go to Mandalore, but I knew that already. Right? I knew at the end of season 1 that he needed to go find his people, because the armorer told us that in like episode 7. He got to go brand the sorcerers and don't name the Jedi. He need to go get him with his own kind. You're a clan of 2. She said that in episode. She said that in season 1. In season 2, he had to go do it. So we knew he had to go do it, right? But then he had a bunch of other stuff happening every time he stopped somewhere. So we didn't get that. We definitely didn't get that in this previous episode. Like, okay, man, you got to go get that, but like, some shit supposed to happen right now where it go wrong. Like, some shit's supposed to go wrong.
What's the stakes here, bro? Like,
lay
this out.
That's a better way to put it. That's actually a better way to put it. I don't know if we walked out of episode 1 like knowing what the for real stakes are, right? What the for real stakes are. Yeah, Moff gonna come back. We're gonna get some stuff from Coruscant, but like, what's the real stakes of it all that impact you and Grogu, where probably some decisions got to be made? But you say, like, to your point, with a certain level of growth, like he wasn't a bounty hunter in the second one the way he was in the first, but he was still badass in the first season. In the second season, he wasn't a bounty hunter. He had what he had to do to get Grogu where he needed to go, and along the way, he needed to trying to find some Mandalores. He got to get the Mandalore, but like, he can get the Mandalore. So he was in the Mandalore system. What obviously can go wrong before he get to Mandalore? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, yeah. What's
the
gonna
snap? Like,
be?
what's the if is that the or when you get there, you're gonna find out something else, and that's probably what more like it's gonna be. Like some shit really gonna get to really see some things once he get to Mandalore. But I just had a good I had a good time with the episode, but I'm not gonna let that be the thing where it's like I had a good time, but I definitely get what you're saying.
And I think you articulated that very well, and I understand why you had a good time with it, and I can see I see the points you made, and I see what you're saying, and like I said, we just fell on two different sides when it comes to our reaction and the effect it had on us. But I think we both sort of looking at the forward scope of the season, like, okay, all right, I'm still looking forward to these things. You know what I mean? I want to know eventually, and like you said, I hope we don't get that. How that don't become an instant distraction where we constantly looking away, like, oh, Ezra and Pergil. Okay, whoa, now the Pergil are now Mando see the Pergil and now he following the. I hope we don't get. I hope they do it like
with Mando, because that got nothing to do with Mando.
He don't
Everything
know
that happened before has something to do. Like when they said Ahsoka, but he hadn't defined a Jedi. Yeah, they brought Ahsoka in, but they needed to go to a Jedi. He was looking for Mandalorian. They brought in Bo-Katan. Us seeing a Pergil is great, but it don't have nothing to do with anything right now.
Don't. It really don't have nothing to do with Grogu. So
it don't got nothing to do with nobody. Ahsoka, when we see her show, first thing we see is Pergil. But
so I hope we naturally can get to her. But like I agree with you. Yeah, I hope we following these missions because we know his first objective. It's like a game, man. It's like you got to look at it like a game, bro. And it's like you got the main story and then you got side missions. His main objective is to get the Mandalore and to bathe in the waters and become a Mandalorian again. Okay, so he stopped off and spoke with Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan, she salty about losing the saber, and she kind of passive aggressive, like, "Hey, won't you do it?" And he like, he ain't gonna do that. He ain't got no answer for that.
Moping, wasn't she?
Yeah,
she like, my people left.
She pouting and moping around. So it's like, all right. Well, he like, well, all right. I guess I'm off to my mission. But it's also, again, there's another side mission already brewing. Hey, they working on my IG unit. I need that IG unit, but they working on it. So that's happening in the background. That's another mission. Then it's the pirates. The pirates still out there. They ain't destroyed the entire fleet. He just escaped, and he kind of left them hovering over Navarro pretty much. So they still out there.
Just like the first season with that one with the Empire. Like he stole the baby, he came back, the Empire, and took over Navarro. I think that's what the same thing gonna happen with the pirates, right? Like, but I would hate for that. I would hope that wouldn't be. I hope that would be a mission, not a storyline.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's a mission. I got to come back and get my guy Creef out of some things, and maybe but I don't want that to be like these pirates to be like that was a good seeing them and they hooked that up and they showed that and they got to see the ship, got to see his ship fly, but that can't be like an ongoing thing in the season, like him dealing with these pirates, because then we just getting Hondu, because that's all that is. That's Hondu's coming up.
Yeah, because the pirates didn't seem like compelling villains. Like it just kind of was like, okay,
it was fodder. Really, I honestly felt that like, where the fuck is Hondu? He's showing up. Them is because he was it not a Rhodian, but a couple of them was what's that bartender? Fucking, you know what? I'm gonna put it in the thing. What kind of creatures they are? The same thing the bartender is.
Trandoshan. Nah,
is it Trandoshan? That's not Trandoshan. It's
not Trandoshan. It's
I'll put it. We'll get it. At the end of the day,
I know what you're talking
about. A couple of them was him. His peoples, right?
Yeah.
Weak way.
Weak way.
I think it's weak way.
Okay. All
right. But yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
no, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Weak way. Yeah. So
they got the tails and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hondu always got a hat on though, but they got the spikes.
Yeah. His whole squad all the time was weak ways. Right?
And
so it's like, the pirates. Yeah. That's Hondu. It's Hondu. Like it's coming. That's probably the person who got the damn transcript. If you want to be quite honest, like, but at the end of the day, like, okay, but what does make sure when he show up? I'm excited, but I always felt like Hondo should have showed it when they was on that planet, in the Believer episode with that Rhodian. Remember those guys in those pirates did not want the Empire on their land, and they was throwing them Bondo, throwing all those, and Mando had the Empire. He had the Stormtrooper green outfit on. I thought Hondo should have showed up right there, like, oh, fucking Hondo about to show up. But yeah, but that's my point. Like, he could show that. That's a setup for because they was a little comedic too. So it's like they was silly. I admit that they was silly. So like that felt like Hondo was about to show up, right? So I can see that when we come back to Navarro, that okay, cool. We see Hondo, that's cool, but like, just make sure, because Ahsoka gonna show up, but she meant something in the season before. Hey. What's she gonna mean for the Mando season, not just for the setup of her show? I'm gonna trust in Dave and them and John, but they can take chances. But go ahead though.
You got me thinking about something with Hondo now, because I ain't even really think about Hondo like that. What you said, up, bro. What you say make perfect sense. And this might look, if Disney is being Disney, and we know Disney is always Disney, and you talk about fan service, I see the Millennium Falcon just pop up, bro. Because remember, Hondo got the Millennium Falcon in the Disney ride, the one where you ride the Millennium Falcon.
Tell me about that. Yeah.
Hondo got that drone, man. So this might be a way that we see the Millennium Falcon, where he just swoop in and save them, and they be like, damn, like, and he like, where you get that from? He like, yeah, I borrowed this from my friend, buddy of mine, Han Solo and Chewie. I can see them doing that, bro. That's a fan service moment without having to bring Chewbacca and Han Solo into the story. You just name drop them.
I guess you just said it because I seen the little spoiler alert sneaky leak that they got a DA's what's the name? And so that kind of makes
which one?
DA's Han.
I heard it's another Luke moment. Luke moment. So I think that's the Luke moment. Because they said it's gonna be another moment where you see somebody pop up and they was like, man, everybody gonna be in tears and all this stuff. So I did see that.
That would make sense, man. Hondo showing up, man. I put the house up.
Damn.
Before even that information, right? I put the house up, and then with Ezra, and then the Pergil. Get out of here, man. They down there fought off the Empire, Lothal. So it's like,
can we pull up the Pergil real quick? Can we pull up a picture of the Pergil from from Rebels?
Rebels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pull that
up. Because when I saw that, I was like, they gave me just enough where it was like, well, I'm sort of looking at my wife like, it was a Pergil, so, but.
Like a Pergil, dog. Pergil.
He didn't even say nothing, though. He's again, man,
looking like
Google Gaga, and he cuddled up with Mando. Mando was slumped.
Mando was so out, bro.
He doing this move. Talk about some.
Sidebar though, that motherfucker dope, man. God,
yeah.
Oh shit! Niggas might have started doing helmet when they record that shit. Hey man, you damn look like Cobb Vanth, man. Like you know, new Boba Husky. Like you look like Empire Strike Back, Boba, not the Husky Boba.
Yeah. When he was Skinny Bull, yeah. Yeah, man.
He said that shit look good. You the cosplay that I believe you like.
He slumped. Look at that, bro. We saw that, bro. We saw the silhouette of those, bro. That was dope, man.
Let me see if I can.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, that was
like, the first thing I said it out loud. I was like, man, that's Dave Filoni right there. That's Dave. I was like, Dave Filoni made this scene happen right here. Not John. Dave made this scene happen.
We talked about that too sometimes. Like, I mean, I had to talk him off the ledge.
Yeah. Hey. Dave, chill out. Hey. You know John Farrar talking. Dave. Hey, Dave. Come on, Dave. I'll let you put the Pergil in there, but it's the silhouette. Look at that, bro. Them things, hyperdrive, man.
Like as large as those things are right there, like they would have snapped Thrawn's neck in the Rebel. Like you seen in the Rebels episode, they wasn't that. Mm-hmm. They wasn't they big, right? But they wasn't like this when they first get them. This ain't the one where I should have pulled a picture when they actually had Thrawn wrapped up.
Look at that.
Oh, that's when he was pulling up. Yeah.
Wow.
Let's see if they got it. They got it down here. Wookiee Leaks. Shout out to Wookiee Leaks.
Wookiee Leaks.
Wookiee Leaks. Now I was leaving right here, but yeah, no, that was just like. So there's always that, man. When you looking at that and you see it and you like, man, that's dope. Like this right here, it's like I just was sitting there for that was like seeing that because you see him look on the side and he was like, well, he gonna it's gonna be some cute Grogu stuff, and then it's like, nah, for real, they just showed the Perg like, yeah, and then it's the weird thing, right? It was definitely not as big as like an X-wing showing up in the season finale. Like, man, don't play with me now. Like, like that's like a don't do this. Now that y'all done did this, it gotta be Luke. It can't be nobody else. It gotta be Luke, right? Don't play me. This is definitely not nearly as big as that. But there is a part of it when you see this and you be like, don't play with me, man.
Yeah. Like, I was like, Ezra's alive. You know what I mean? We knew he was alive, but it's like,
see the
Ezra's alive.
Ain't nothing more being alive to see
and he coming. Like he coming back, bro. He out there, like,
and he controlled them things, man. That was his force. His force skill was with the animals. Like he controlled them. So it's like, don't play with me, hey Filoni. Don't play with me, man. If you're gonna do it, do it. Just don't take away seriously. And I'm not trying to be negative. I mean, I had a great time with this episode. I got a funny feeling that I don't know. I think I'm in a different space, man. I'll tell you something. I don't know if you felt this. Pause. I was in a different space when it first came on, and I think because of fucking Andor, man.
Hey, that might have, man. I ain't even think of that. That might have affected me, bro.
I can't even lie.
That might have affected me, man. No,
I can't lie, man.
Wow, I honestly didn't even think of that because, you know what? Because when I heard that dialogue, and I heard that little kid talking about some, yes, I promise to take care of it. And it's like, and I'm just like, it just broke my immersion, man. I'm like,
yeah,
bro, where they get this kid from, man? Like, come on, you can't have Leave It to Beaver up here, bro. Doing the you got Beaver in the water. Yes, Scout's honor. Yeah, like, come on, man, get a British accent up in here, man. Come on,
you going to have something, man. You got to have something, man.
Gotta have somebody with some. Yeah.
You gotta if you in the Star Wars universe, man, you coming in, you better be from somewhere other than Nebraska.
Yeah.
You could be from Colombia, you could be from New Zealand, you could be from Great Britain. You just could not be from Nebraska. Can't be from
Idaho.
Nebraska, man. None of that.
Wyoming.
None of that, man. You gotta have something, man.
You cannot be from the middle of the country. Yeah.
Because Casa had that. Young Casa. Hey, man, I'm telling you, man, like, I ain't gonna even lie. I'm not gonna lie, man. Not gonna lie. That's the messed up part about it. Even when this end, man, we might be like, fucking Andor.
Andor ruined it. Andor ruined everything. Because, bro. I
definitely had to get a palate cleanse. And you know the messed up part about it? I ended up watching, I watched the what's the name in episode yesterday just because I was thinking about it so much. The Aldani, when they escaped. I watched that yesterday. I just called a chill burst because I just thought about the fact when I watched it yesterday, I wanted to test out the slapness of this Vizzy-OLED, and I watched the Aldani episode. I mean, I watched it on the Vizzy, and it was just like, because it did make me, when I was watching the beginning, I was like, Jermaine, I had to tell myself, keep it a buck. Hey, man, this is not Andor. Let it go. And only reason I was able to tell myself that, it was this channel that I was watching, and this was like over for a while, and it was like they were like even like trying to diss the Bad Batch because it wasn't like Andor, and I was like, you gotta let that go, man. Like, it can't be like Andor. It's the Bad Batch. It's a cartoon, dog. It can't be like Andor. And only reason, and because I judged that person on that one, I had to tell myself, like, yo, you have to let Andor go, man. You got a whole nother year and a half probably before that thing run back. Got a whole nother year ago.
That was tough, bro.
That's a buck.
That set me back, bro. I was like, he got up there talking about some. Yes. I promise. It's like, oh God.
Oh man.
Oh,
that's funny.
Bro. Yeah, it was wild, man. But yeah, that kind of broke my immersion, man. I couldn't recover from that, man. And I ended up, I think it did have an effect, man. I think Andor did kind of have an effect on me, but yeah, and I'll get used to it once episode 2.
See how that flesh it out, man. Because like I'm agree with you, man. And I didn't mean to cut you, but I do agree with you that episode 2 has to like move us, okay? Because whatever they did, let's just say they was just resetting for people who didn't see Boba Fett and trying to tell the story and like just kind of like sliding you back in. And what I think episode 2 has to push us like into the theme of what the season is going to be, because that one right there was cool stuff to get back into. Some pirates, couple my man Grief and Kargan and the got the drip on. He good. Navarro prospering. Mando shoot a couple of his ship flying fast. He got all that in. That's cool. That's cool to see. But we got to really get into and we just can't have. And although I love the character, we just can't have mopey Bob Katan, right? Like, everybody left me. I like she having an existential crisis at this point in time, right? Like,
Facts.
Like we just saw her be incredibly badass the entire time before this, so she can't be just sitting on the thing and being like, like woe is me, because she was woe is me, right? Like she was, like you say, passive, man. Hey, why don't you go swing that thing? So cool, but Bo-Katan was ready to choke Sabine out in Rebels.
Yeah,
because she made that device, right? I'm just in my mind. That's why she was ready to choke her out, right? And Sabine had the Darksaber.
That's what I'm saying. She's not a passive aggressive. Mandalorians are not passive aggressive. They're not passive aggressive. Like, they're gonna confront you. When Boba walked in that room, she hit him with the how somebody really don't like you when they start talking to you before they look at you. You are not a Mandalorian. It's like, man looked at her like, she totally did that to her. He said, bitch. No, I'm quit. No, that's it for the helmet. But yeah. She hit him with the. That is so you are not a Mandalorian. You ever had somebody do that? Hey, look at man. You need to shut up. Like, you are not a Mandalorian.
I don't know what you talking about.
Right.
No, man.
Nobody even asked.
Smoke after that.
Nobody even asked you what the hell you wanted to eat. Like, damn. Like,
people they hit you with this. Like, people always got something to say. They don't know what they're talking about. Like, man, look at me when you say that.
Don't ever look
at like 3 people in this room.
Yeah. Look away from me talking shit. Yeah, looking in the opposite direction.
Yeah, we can't spend the season trying to get her. You know, like I say, and I will hold it to that standard. Again, I felt good and this and that, but I will hold it to that standard. Like, you know, like we can't. She was good at the end, right? Like we can't have a whole season. You might have should have put an episode of Bo-Katan in that damn Boba Fett show. We gonna do this, right?
Yeah, man.
Just make it what it was. So like we can't have a whole season trying to get her back up to feeling like she want to be the leader or even being caring or whatever it is. Like having a purpose in life.
Yeah, it made me.
We'll see.
No, I'm with you. It made me realize that because coming into the season, I was sure that she was going to be a villain, or not saying I was sure, but I had her, you know, as a possible.
It was going to be this.
Yeah,
it was going to at least be this,
right? But now it looked like he almost got to pull her out of this depression that she's in. So it's like if she was going to be a villain, I think she would have already made her move, right? I think she would have already been like. And like he would have tried to leave and she would have been like locked him up,
so
you know.
What if she just a tool? Because I came out of the episode thinking like in terms of like I still think there's going to be I think this is going to be like if we equate it because it's easy to say Mandalorian Civil War, but let's equate it to the MCU's Civil War, right? Where like there was still somebody in the middle that was like. That was able to cause the conflict between Tony and Cap and then the subsequent teams. So I still think there's going to be a middle person. But what I originally thought it was going to be like Mando and his you know what I mean, his squad against Bo and maybe her squad. Like so they are protagonists and antagonists at the same time. And then we have somebody else like Zemo that's a legit antagonist or the evil person.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm starting not to feel that way. Like, well, I might see it like Bo may be a tool to show Mandalorian his leadership thing. And really the other Mandalorian antagonists are going to be to watch because the armorer ain't want to hear none of that shit. He could come back with a picture of him in a sauna and she going to be like,
yeah, did she agree to that? Because he was like, he telling her, I gotta show you proof that I was on a planet, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I gotta show you proof that I bathed in the thing. She was like, this is the way. And it was a snappy with this. It was like a smug, this is the way.
But now go ahead, finish your point you was making.
My point is I could see that being the thing where like now she's like it's he gotta build Bo up to Bo being his right hand in that situation. And they'll be going against the Watch. Because they kind of set that up, right? Because even when saved them, they like, I don't look, man, you could have let me die for all they missed me with that. None of them was really trying to see that.
This seems like it's gonna end with the Watch. I agree with you. It seems like because you're not going, it's like how is other than because it's like even when he popped up with the Darksaber, it's not like they just start bowing in front of him like, you the new leader.
That's weird, right, man? Because
the
helmet means something to them, but the saber didn't mean nothing. She even took it like,
yeah, she took it from him and
she lit him up like,
yeah. So they start training with it. Like she recognized right away. Yeah, that's a good point. She didn't see the symbolism in the saber.
No.
And that's kind of like where the conflict is, I guess. Is that we got one faction who sees symbolism in if you got the saber, you the ruler of Mandalore, and you the leader of our people and of what's left of our people. You can bring us back. The other side is no, keep your mask on to hide our numbers and follow that tradition. If you don't,
let's get it back to the old ways.
Yeah, let's go back to the old ways where we keep our mask on. That's how we preserve our civilization. But yeah, like they didn't respect that shit. He was like, I'm gonna take it. He thought about taking it just because it belonged to his ancestor. She was just more so on, man, you don't even know what you're doing with that. I could train you. Man, look at you. You already cut your leg and shit. Like, you don't really know what the hell you're doing. Yeah, man.
Man.
Man, don't even. Main man don't even know. She looked at Paz like Vizsla like, main man don't even know what he doing with the. Main man don't even know what he doing with the saber. Look at his leg. How you think he got that? Man, boy don't even know what he doing with the saber. So yeah, she was just more so like, man, I'm gonna show you, just so you don't look like a jackass. Let's start training. Let's get you right with that. She was more so looking at it from her like a pragmatic point of view of I'm an armorer, and she's sort of like a weapons master. She's like, let me show you how to use this. Like you gotta, it's the weight. The reason it's heavy is because of this. And so she started training him on that. She didn't go into this whole speech about, well, you got the Darksaber now, so it's your responsibility to lead our people out of the. She don't care about that. They don't care about that. They don't care about that. They care about this tradition and putting this mask on. They had a big ceremony for this kid,
this little
boy. Everybody was there, and but there wasn't no ceremony for the Darksaber. They didn't prepare. She didn't say. Oh, yeah, it was like even going back to season 1 when he popped up with the Beskar, they started coming out of the covert like, damn, what he got? Damn, what? Yeah. Hey, man, that's a little skinny nigga. What's his name again? What's his name? Dan Jarn. Yeah, Dan. Look,
they did do that.
Then we used to call him Den. Little Den. Yeah. Dan got some Beskar shit. Where you get that shit from?
And he was iced with it too, though, wasn't he?
Paz said he with that. Paz was treating him like a coon and shit. Like, Vizsla was like, coon ass. Man, that's from the Purge, man. That's our people, man. Like, race trader ass.
He's sharing tables with him. Like,
he did drop a line on him.
Yeah.
Well, he eating off the same table as them and all, But the point I'm making
definitely hit him. He definitely hit
they
him.
were way more fascinated by that Beskar meant something to them. Like they obsessed with armor and
she was hyped for the spear.
They was hyped for the spear.
When the spear showed up, like, nah, we got to make that into this. You know what I'm saying? Like the spear had a little bit more intention grabbing from her. I love the spear.
I love that spear, man.
I look
at the Mandalorian like a game, bro. It's like it's
you first person I heard say that too. Yeah, I saw somebody else bring that up.
Yeah, it's written so much like a game, but yeah, that spear was dope, man. But she was, you're right, bro. She was more fascinated with the spear and just like and Beskar than the Darksaber. She just was like, oh, it's just another weapon.
Because that's their lore.
That's their exactly.
Supposed to win in the battle. She got it. She didn't win it in battle, and she was cursed. And then she wasn't prepared when the reason why the purge happened because she was cursed, and that's their. But they had already left the part. Correct me if I'm wrong. My Mandalorian lore, it might not be where it need to be, but this faction had already, having not been questioned on the moon of Concordia, they was already on that moon. We see the moon in the Clone Wars. Yep. They've been on that moon before. I think they was on that moon when probably Maul took over for when he was the leader of Mandalore, when he had the Darksaber. Like, y'all allowed that Darksaber. Y'all was so stupid. Y'all thought the Darksaber was so much. Y'all let Maul run that shit. That's how stupid y'all are.
You starting to think about the Mandalorians like, man, y'all got a lot of dumbass traditions, man. Like I love them. I love them as characters, bro. I love them as characters. I love them, man. They are my favorite. Boba Fett is my favorite character all time. In the KOTOR games, they play a big part. In the history of Jedi and Sith, they play a big part because of the Jedi, the war with the Jedis, the Civil War. But yeah, these traditions, man, are keeping them right, bro. Like Darth Maul came in there. Yeah. Regardless of whatever his ambitions were, his past as a Sith Lord, he was able to take over this entire clan just because he beat somebody in battle, which is, and we know that's again, and when I say, I'm joking when I say like they got a lot of dumb traditions.
Yeah, but
what I mean though is just like, damn, these traditions are, it is causing the schism of their people, right? it is causing a schism in what seems, because we ain't seen no third tribe, we ain't seen no third clan. It seemed like this is all that's left of Mandalore is the people that was with Bo-Katan and the people that's with the armor and their people, and the covert. That seemed like that's all that's left. And they really don't know each other. Like they some of them do, but Dan didn't know about the other side. When he saw Bo show up, he was like, "Ain't no Mandalorian. You just took your mask off right in front of me. You know what I mean? You an apostate. You know." Yeah. And they like, "Oh, he wanted them." You know, they were aware. Like the higher up people, they know. You know, they like, "Oh yeah, it is another side over there, and they got different beliefs than us." And, you know, then he's still wet behind the ears. He's still learning.
There was so many clans. That's a weird thing too, because like in Rebels, there were even still different clans, right? Like you had the Saxtons, you had the Wrens, you had the Vizslers, there were different multiple clans. It only really seemed like it's this. Now we don't know within this Armorers clan if it's just a whole hodgepodge of like different, like what last remaining like Vizslers in that clan. Like we don't even really know what the armor is. Are you a Vizsla? Are you from House Vizsla? You from what are you, right? But at the end of the day, it don't really, like you say, it just seemed like it's that and whatever those the three of them that what they could have been, Night Owls. I think they might have been Night Owls. I don't know, because I thought Night Owls were all females. But at the end of the day, let's just call them Night Owls. It was the armor. It's the they call them. They don't call them child. They say you child of the watch, but I don't think that's probably their whole name. You're a child of the watch. Just call them the watch. Just call them the watch.
The watch, yeah.
The watch, and then you got Bo-Katan's clique. It don't seem like a lot. And it's probably what they're gonna find out when they get to Mandalore. Like, it's a lot more. You know, it's a lot more, such and such. But I think that's probably what's gonna have to happen is that what's gonna happen is obviously we see it in the trailers. Mando's gonna bossy up, right? Like, it depends on who he posseing up with. And I would imagine just kind of what they did with the Bo-Katan thing at the end, and she all beaten down and like you say, passive aggressive and woe was me, that he gonna build her up, and he gonna build her up, but it's gonna show his growth in being a leader. And so we were talking about growth earlier, right? What's his growth, right?
Yeah,
it all roads have led to this, but I think he's going to have to make a decision against that other.
That's a good prediction right there. I like that. I think you're right, man. I think that's what we're leaning towards here is that he's going to have to pull her out of this funk, man, that she in, because she is the princess. I mean, she's supposed to be the leader. Like, she's by blood. She's supposed to be the leader of the people.
Use the good word. I mean, it cut you. Use the good word earlier. Entitled. It's like you act when you entitled and it don't go your way.
Right. You like, right. And I'm supposed to get this. Why am I not the queen? You know? And it's like
it never got handed to her.
You never got.
Like, I mean, hell, Maul killed her sister. He stabbed her right in the stomach, right in the thing. Right, he killed her, and he still got the lead, and it didn't. Everybody still followed him. Like, at some point in time, Bo, you should have looked up and like, yo, that don't this ain't this. Yo, this is not this not what the business is, right? But they still followed that lore of Darksaber leader. But she my bad. Go ahead.
I was gonna say what killed him was, and my bad if he was getting here, but what killed him is their belief system was obviously reinforced, and their superstitions were reinforced by the fact that when she finally did get her hands on it, y'all get bombed out of existence. You know what I mean? Your planet get turned to glass. You know what I mean? But really, when you think about it, I mean, obviously, from somebody looking from the outside looking in, they like, nah, man, that was just a product of, man, the Empire took over, man. Like, y'all were very strong and stubborn people. Like, they had to do y'all like that. But in their minds, and the side of that Din Djarin ended up on, they definitely looking at it like, oh yeah, that's why that happened. because you got the saber off of false pre.
Yeah, that's the reason what happened instead of what really happened with the Empire being strapped. Right, the Empire had everything. You start seeing it like it's like watching Bad Batch now. It's just like you start seeing like how they were able to just the stuff that they start having early. That's early. This is right after Order 66, right? This is right after Order 66 with the Bad Batch. And the things, the weapons they have and the pool they have. Hell, that's what I always told me off about when you get back to the Mandalorian. And Mandalorian is this timeline about the Purge and everything. Like when did the Purge happen? Like right before New Hope, maybe like a couple years, right? Because that's what ended up happening. They lined up with other men like Gar Saxton and them. They lined with the Saxtons because they put him in place. He became like Bo didn't want to do business. They bombed him. That's how I thought. Think in my mind, that's how it happened. Bo didn't want to connect with the Empire.
Right.
They bombed them and
because
they
the Purge.
Saxton,
you're right.
Put Saxton into place. And it's like, and they were all, and then they had because then that's when they tried to bring Sabine back to finish that weapon, right? Because Sabine had that weapon she made that can disintegrate Beskar. And they try to bring her back. So it's like even for them, like it's like there were Mandalorians there in Rebels. That's my point I'm trying to get to is I think when they show up, they're gonna figure out like, it's Mandalorians living here. Like it's Mandalorians living here. Everybody gonna be kind of feeling like realistically like Bo might have been in exile the entire time. So she talking that noise, but she might have been in exile. Like I can't go back. They ran me up out of here.
Yeah.
No, I'm lying. I messed that up. I messed that up because Sabine gave her the saber. So this was already after Saxton was in place. She got kicked out. She came back with the saber to try to unite all those tribes, and then they got bombed up. The Purge.
That's like that was like a legend, that she got this saber and they cursed after that. So I don't think. Let me ask you: do you think that? Is there really a path where she ever can get this saber? And would it make sense? I don't think it is.
Unless they show, which has never happened, and I don't know where it can happen unless they Din get his ass kicked.
I just don't see that being.
That you can't. They haven't introduced a character. You have to introduce a character where that can happen.
And you gotta. So they
could also that what's the name? It can offset in a certain way, right?
Yeah, I think you got to find a path where ultimately they're gonna have to find a different way that they rule these people. That this tradition is gonna have to come to an end. That it's gonna have to be some like reformation here, where they just like, man, we killing both of kill that the mask stuff and kill the Darksaber stuff. We need to come together to survive and rebuild Mandalore. Because the war is over, right? Like there's no more galactic civil war.
There's none of that.
There's none of that.
Everybody trying to find a place in the and I hope we get that part of the thing too. But before I forget that, going back to your point, because I heard somebody say this, and then now I see a path to this. So when you say a path, and the path would be that this don't matter, right? This is all some bullshit we've been on, right? This don't really matter. But one thing that may make that is the destruction. When somebody said this, so they mind that the Darksaber might get destroyed. That we don't have a Darksaber, right? Okay. And then it's like it's all come to then it's like come on, let's come to our senses. Like, see, this don't matter. This don't matter, right? This don't matter. Like people led Mandalore before the Darksaber. We could lead after the Darksaber. Like it's to our downfall. This will be a situation where they can use Sabine for that because she always made the shit they can correct something, and she would end that. But I hope not. But that's something they can. If it happened, you heard it early. Like the person who destroyed, I didn't make up the saber being destroyed, but if somebody destroyed the saber, it would be Sabine, right? It would be Mando can't do that shit. Like he tried to bring IG-11, he needed Quill. He can't do that shit. But Sabine was nice with that kind of stuff. Like that kind of stuff, she was nice with. Or if Luke showed up and was like, or Grogu, right? Or Grogu.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if we
that would be the way. If we went the way you're saying, like get beyond that, and that would be the path where she could be the leader, but it don't have to follow that way. My thing is that to do that, and I agree with you, that would be lead. I think the only way that can happen would be destruction of the Darksaber. Like, y'all let this shit go. This shit don't matter. It's like when Elaine threw out that wig when George Costanza had it. He thought he was smooth, and she threw that wig out the window. Some shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if I'm playing that, continue to just play devil's advocate one last time. Correct me if I'm wrong. There hasn't been a Jedi/Mandalorian since the creator of the Darksaber.
Yeah, pre-Vizsla, right?
Grogu would be the one who unites Mandalorian. Everyone. By saying, hey, look, I'm a Jedi/Mandalorian.
I feel like it's going that way, don't it?
That would be the predictable thing. They might not do that. You know, they might do that. It might be a little bit more nuanced.
What's that theory? Hey Manny, what's that theory that the most likely outcome is the correct outcome? Like sometimes you gotta, like, when you breaking things down, it's like I said it I was in a team meeting and I brought that up because I know what the theory name is, but I can't think of it now. But ultimately, the most likely outcome is the outcome. The most likely outcome is a Jedi. They told us what it was. It was made by a Jedi Vizsla, Jedi Mandalorian. We have a Jedi Mandalorian.
Yep. One exists right now.
We have a Jedi Mandalorian.
He's not a full Mandalorian or a full Jedi yet. But
neither.
He got plenty of time. And maybe that's what I'm
saying.
Maybe what John say. I don't know when this is going to end.
They got to find the right time to give him the saber.
He gonna get the saber though, bro.
Because he can't do the saber now.
And let's go back to
the saber now.
Let's go back to what you said though. You said, "Hey man, the saber might get destroyed." You're right. Saber might get destroyed. They put that thing back together. They put it together. They grow so gross the way it's size. Like you say, the most likely thing is probably it's probably what's gonna happen. That's just how these shows work, man. That's how these shows work. It's not, and I commend them for this. I'm not. This isn't a criticism necessarily. It is, but it's not, because that's sort of how Star Wars was made. You know, like, so you don't want to. Again, this isn't Andor. This is the Mandalorian. This is a simpler form of storytelling. So if they were to do that, fine. Now, can we say that? Can we say that it's been the most predictable show? I mean, at times, yes, but did we see Luke showing up at the end of season 2? In the first episode of season 2, did you say to yourself, because we knew Boba Fett was coming, but did you say to yourself, man, you know what I think is gonna happen? Man, Luke gonna show up, man, and save these.
Luke gonna show up.
He gonna save these niggas, man. In the last episode, watch. Nobody was saying that, right? So we don't know. That's the good thing. That's the good thing about it. We can at least preserve that and say, nah, we really don't know what's gonna happen. We think we know what's gonna happen, but hey, man, bro, last episode, Ezra show up, bro. For all we know, because remember, the leaks that they did allow to get out there was your boy, the one Jedi. And I got the book. I can go get the book right now and show you. In the art book, the concept art was for the other Jedi, Plo Koon.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you was telling me about that. Yeah.
Plo Koon was, if you look, I can show you in the book right now. In the book, Plo Koon is where everything Luke was doing, Plo Koon is doing. So even if it leaked, people were like, "Oh man, Plo Koon coming to save him at the end of the season." They didn't even see Luke coming. So all this Han Solo talk we getting, you right. You might be early. We might be early. Hey man, that might be Hondo. Or it might be Ezra. They might be throwing us off thinking, oh man, we're gonna get Han Solo in the Millennium Falcon, or we're gonna get, man, next thing you know, bro, you see that lightsaber light up that look like a damn gun.
Now Vader messed that one up.
Oh, he did. What did he have? What did he have?
He ended up getting a green saber. Yeah, Vader, get that shit out of here, man. You'll die braver than most. It's a dope Vader line, by the way. Vader got that little bullshit out of here, man.
Vader said, man, you don't get that little water pistol out of here, man. You don't get that damn tape player. You don't get that tape player out of here, man.
Got a staple gun saber. Like,
you will die with that.
You don't go buy some paper to go put together, man. Vader was like
braver than most.
He snapped that shit, man.
Yeah, he did. Damn, I forgot. Shit. All right.
I'm not afraid of you. You'll die braver than most.